These are angles. Angles are formed when two lines meet. All angles have a number and a unit name. The unit name is degrees. "90 degrees is a fourth of a circle." So a circle has four 90-degree parts. If you count by 90 4 times, you'll know many degrees are in a circle. Listen. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 300 degrees. So there are a total of 360 degrees in a circle. So if we count up by 90 degrees, so we have 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. We're going to rewrite the numbers that are not hundredths as hundredths. So let's read this number. 45 hundredths. Because it's already written in hundredths, we can just write it as 45 hundredths. Let's look at the next number. 230 thousandths. 230 thousandths. We write this as 23 hundredths. Next, let's read this number, 7 tenths. We would rewrite this as 70 hundredths. Let's read this number, 3 1/10. We would write this as 3 10 hundredths. Let's read this number, 50 thousandths. We would rewrite this as 5 hundredths. Let's read this number, 4 0 hundredths. And last, let's read this number, 6 30 thousandths. We would write this as 6 3 hundredths. Last, let's look at exponents. We are going to look at a new way to write repeated multiplication. So if we look here, we can see that the number repeated is 3. The number that's being repeated is the base number. So 3 is being repeated, so the base number is 3. We use the small number to show how many times it's being repeated. So we look here, we can see that 3 has been repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that small number, which is called the exponent, is 5. So we'd rewrite this as 3 to the 5th power. Please make sure that you have copied all of this information into your notes. You may pause the video here and do your lessons for today. Tomorrow, when you come back to watch the second video, or the second half of this video, start it at 4 minutes and 45 seconds. This table shows decimal numbers. First, we are going to rewrite them as hundredths, so we may write them as percents. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this. We have 2 and 4 tenths. That becomes 2 and 40 hundredths. We have 90 thousandths. That would become 9 hundredths. We have the whole number 3. That would become 3 and 0 hundredths. 10 and 6 tenths would be 10 and 60 hundredths. 230 thousandths would be 23 hundredths. We have 1 and 500 thousandths become 1 and 50 hundredths. Now we are going to rewrite these numbers as a percent. Now that we've written these as hundredths, we will write them as percents. When we write it as percents, we simply write the number with a percent sign because we've already written everything in the hundredths place, so everything is ready to be written as a percent because it's in the hundredths place, and percent means out of 100. So 2 and 40 hundredths becomes 240%. Nine hundredths, 9%. 3 and 0 hundredths, 300%. 10 and 60 hundredths, 1060%. 23 hundredths, 23%. 1 and 50 hundredths, 150%. We are going to use the degrees of 90 to find out unknown angles. When we have a given angle, we have 2 given angles, we can find out the third. Let's look at this first problem. We have this whole angle, which is 90 degrees. We know that because we see the square indicator, 90 degrees. We also have this angle given, which is 50 degrees. So if we want to find out how large this small angle is, we would have to take 90 degrees and subtract 50 to find out this remaining angle. So the whole angle is 90 degrees, and this part is 50 degrees. 90 minus 50 is 40 degrees. So this angle right here would be 40 degrees. And we can check our work because we know that 40 degrees plus 50 degrees would equal 90 degrees. Let's try another one. When we look at this angle, we can see that this whole angle is 180 degrees. So a straight line is a 180 degree angle. Next, we have this angle, which is 55 degrees. So to figure out the last part of the angle, which would be a combination of 55 degrees and some number that equals 180. So we would take 180 minus 55 to find out what number angle this is. 180 degrees minus 55 degrees is 125 degrees. So this would be a 125 degree angle. Let's try one more. If we look over here, we can see that we are given a 100-degree angle. And we are trying to determine this unknown angle. We know that there are 360 degrees in a circle. And if we are given this angle of 100 degrees, we would subtract that from 360 degrees to figure out the missing angle. 360 degrees minus 100 degrees would be 260 degrees. We're going to write the missing numbers in these fractions. All fractions equal 2/3. So we figure out the fraction of 1, we multiply by. So for the first fraction is 2/3. We multiply, what number do we multiply by 2 to get to 12? 2 times 6 is 12. So to keep this fraction equivalent, we would need to do the same thing to the denominator. So 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. So the equivalent fraction would be 12/18.